I have immense admiration for Denis Villeneuve's remarkable achievement in bringing Frank Herbert's epic science fiction novel Dune to life on the big screen. While I don't agree with all of the changes he has made in translating this dense story to film, I understand the reasons behind most of them. However, there is one thing I will never understand or agree with the filmmaker on, and that is his staunch stance against releasing an extended cut of his two-film adaptation, or at the very least, releasing the deleted scenes themselves as bonus features. In this video, I'd like to discuss Denis Villeneuve's recent comments about his filmmaking beliefs, the heartbreaking prospects of never getting extended cuts, and why I wholeheartedly disagree with him. In a recent interview with Collider before the release of Dune Part 2, Villeneuve was asked whether fans could expect to ever see the scenes that didn't make the final cut of his two-part adaptation. Dashing the hopes of many fans, the director said, "I'm a strong believer that when it's not in the movie, it's dead. I kill darlings and it's painful for me. Sometimes I remove shots and I say, I cannot believe I'm cutting this out. I feel like a samurai opening my gut. It's painful, so I cannot go back after that and create a Frankenstein and try to reanimate things that I killed. It's too painful. When it's dead, and it's dead for a reason. But yes, it is a painful project, but it is my job. The movie prevails. I'm very, I think, severe in the editing room. I'm not thinking about my ego. I'm thinking about the movie." I simply do not understand this take when it comes to releasing deleted scenes as bonus features. I can understand if he doesn't want to make an entirely new cut of the film to include these scenes, but the mere fact that because they're not in the final cut, that those scenes are essentially dead to him baffles me. Releasing deleted scenes has nothing to do with the final version of the film. Most people view deleted scenes as simply what they are, scenes that didn't make the cut for whatever reason and are not a part of the film's canon. I also completely disagree with Villeneuve's sentiment that he's not thinking about himself or his ego. In order to successfully produce his vision for the film, he has to think about his own sensibilities, his own preferences as a premier filmmaker. While the finished product that arrived in theaters is absolutely his baby, the fact is that this property arrived because of so many other factors, including the franchise's pre-existing fans and the hundreds of other people that helped bring his vision to life. I appreciate greatly the work Denis Villeneuve has done in shepherding this story. However, simply put, these movies are not solely his. While Villeneuve oversaw all of the film departments, there are hundreds of people who put their blood, sweat, and tears into making his vision a reality. I'm not overstating this either, as according to actor Austin Butler, there were members of the production staff passing out from heat stroke during his first week of filming. Additionally, Greg Fraser's work as cinematographer was absolutely crucial in the success of this film, as most people, regardless of their differing opinions on the story, pretty much agree that the imagery is stunning, immersive, and otherworldly on an epic scale. No doubt, this is another Oscar-worthy turn for Greg Fraser in Part 2. He is just as worthy of credit as director Denis Villeneuve for captivating viewers and immersing audiences into this epic story. That is why I simply cannot agree with Villeneuve in regard to his stance on hiding the full scope of their work, because this Dune adaptation is a product of many hands. Therefore, I feel their opinions are just as valid and should be considered in the decision of whether or not to release deleted scenes. Actor Tim Blake Nelson recently revealed his feelings about his part being cut from Dune Part 2. Before the film was released, Nelson was announced as playing a small, unknown role for the newest entry. His part was never officially revealed, but was speculated as playing Count Fenring, husband to Lady Margot Fenring, played by Léa Seydoux. In an interview with MovieWeb, Nelson said, "I don't think I'm at liberty to say what the scene was. I'd leave that to Denis if he wants to talk about it. I had a great time over there shooting it, and then he had to cut it because he thought the movie was too long. And I am heartbroken over that, but there's no hard feelings. I loved it, and I can't wait to do something else with him, and we certainly plan to do that." I also feel the reasoning for his role being cut is pretty weak. Nelson has stated previously that his role essentially was a cameo, so it's hard for me to believe that one cameo appearance would be the straw that broke the camel's back. Personally, I could live with some other parts of the sequel being trimmed to allow room for a scene or two that could contribute, even in a small way, to more fully flesh out the universe of Dune. During the development of Dune Part 2, Villeneuve had promised that the film would reveal much more of the Mentat world and Spacing Guild, especially in regards to how space travel works in this new interpretation. These promises were each indefensibly broken. Though we don't know what was cut in regards to Nelson's role, we do know that scenes featuring the House Atreides Mentat Thufir Hawat were shot for Part 2, only to be cut. In a past interview, Thufir Hawat actor Stephen McKinley Henderson discussed the 10 scenes he filmed opposite Fade Rotha actor Austin Butler. Henderson also revealed that during filming he had a medical emergency and had to leave the production, and when he returned, he noted how attentive and caring his co-star Butler was. Given how passionate Henderson was about the role and the dedication he showed in completing his work on the film, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some heartache in the fact that these scenes were cut and that his work in Part 2 will seemingly never be enjoyed by fans. In explaining his decision to cut Henderson's role, Villeneuve, in speaking with Entertainment Weekly, said, "When you adapt, there's always some kind of violence toward the original material. You have to change things, you have to bend, you have to make painful choices. One of the most painful choices for me on this one was Thufir Hawat. He's a character I absolutely love, but I decided right at the beginning that I was making a Bene Gesserit adaptation. That meant that Mentats are not as present as they should be, but it's the nature of the adaptation." Personally, I don't understand how the inclusion of the role of the Atreides Mentat would detract in any way from the Bene Gesserit and their scenes in Dune Part 2. Then again, I'm not a filmmaker, and so this is just my viewpoint as a fan. I don't mind Villeneuve's take on focusing on the far-reaching influence of the Bene Gesserit in his adaptation. However, the story of Dune includes other institutions and characters that are essential to its mythology and add to the richness of the story itself. Many, including myself, were baffled by the absence of the Spacing Guild, who have a significant interest in spice production. This organization would definitely wield their influence on Arrakis if there were any threat to the continued supply of spice. However, despite making an appearance in the first film, they were mysteriously missing in the most critical moments of the final act. Warner Brothers and Legendary may be able to change Villeneuve's mind in releasing deleted scenes. However, I still believe very strongly that an extended cut of both films should be considered. Despite the lengthy runtime of 2 hours and 45 minutes for parts 1 and 2, many feel that an extended edition could add significant depth to this story by fleshing out several key characters and lore elements. A common criticism directed at both installments is that they at times feel rushed. Personally, for Dune Part 1, I always thought that the Atreides' time on Arrakis felt incredibly short before the Harkonnens' attack. Many in the audience who are not familiar with the book, but especially those that are, also feel that the latter half of Dune Part 2 is similarly rushed. It's entirely possible that an extended cut could help to address this issue while further fleshing out this story and its lore. Many Dune fans agree that the Spice Diver fan-made extended edition of David Lynch's 1984 film adaptation is the best version of the film. Likewise, I believe that an extended edition encompassing both of Denis Villeneuve's initial Dune films could significantly enrich their cinematic legacy. Echoing the enduring popularity of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, an extended edition of Villeneuve's Dune has the potential to easily become a cherished favorite for decades. But I'm curious to know what you think about Villeneuve's stance on deleted scenes and an extended edition. Do you feel that Villeneuve should soften his stance on allowing audiences to see the scenes that were cut? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more Dune and other sci-fi and fantasy news and lore. And if you're looking for other ways to show your appreciation, you can check out my Patreon page, where members get access to exclusive content and perks. Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.